This is a screencast on how to use an evaluate map. This is to be used when you want to evaluate something. Remember, evaluate means to determine whether something was good, bad, awesome, stupid, and not only make the judgment but then justify your answer giving reasons for that. So, we're going to learn how to use an evaluation map. Here you have the criteria for what you need to do. So in order to be able to get up to be able to do this successfully, and how you know you can do this well, so if I just zoom in here, first thing is that you can make a claim and give several relevant reasons and objections. A reason is something that backs up what your claim is in terms of your evaluation claim, and your objections are the reasons against your claim. And so further, you can make a claim and give several relevant reasons and objections, and explain why these reasons and objections are relevant to the claim, and then also provide evidence, judged overall support for reasons and objections, and make an overall evaluation of the claim. So going right through the process, right through here. So let's look at an example. The first example is I've made the claim that on this evaluate map that iPods are fantastic. That's my claim. So what you would do is you would make whatever you're going to evaluate, you would make a claim of what you think about the particular thing at this point in time. So I've just said iPods. Then in these two boxes here, I've given two different reasons, okay, that back up why I think this. At the same time, so if you look at, before I move on, if you take a look at those reasons, one is they can take photos, video, etc. And then I have this one here, there's many thousands of apps, there's a huge range. Okay, so I've given my reasons. Now in order to better move, I also need to be able to give some objections, so some reasons why people might not think. So some objections that I've come up here is it cannot make phone calls on the 3G network, and there's no flash for the camera. Now with each of these then I need to give reasons why that they're a good reason or a good objection. So for this one here, it's good that it's one device to use video, camera, audio, because the same lots of time, and you don't need lots of different devices, you can just have one device. And the fact that there's a range of apps, there's almost an app for anything you can think of that will assist you in your life. If you go back over here, then you have, we've talked about that you might need to have a phone as well as having an iPod. It's not just a device that you'll be able to make phone calls on as well, and you need a more flash camera in order to be able to take more advanced photography. Now if we just stop there and just take a moment to consider that. So what I've done here is I've made a claim at the top here, and I've given some reasons and some objections to those to back up or for or against the claim, and I've also backed up those by giving reasons for why those reasons are good and why the objections are valid. And they link back to the claim up here. So if I was to put down here, for instance, that and I was put my because, and I had nothing to do with iPods being fantastic or not fantastic, then that would not be a good reason to put in here. So at the moment I'd be at the third level of the criteria. In order to get up to the top level, I need to do these next two things. Now in these boxes here, I then need to look at what the evidence means. So my evidence is what I do, is I decide whether the piece of evidence I've given here, it's got no grounds. But we'll zoom in so it makes it a little easier to see, because there's so each one, whether it's got no grounds, common knowledge, personal knowledge, and expert opinion. So we need to weigh up the evidence and determine whether the evidence that's been given, what kind of evidence. So if it's got no grounds, so if the claim, the evidence I've given, or the reasons I've given, there's no evidence for that, then I would circle it. If it's common knowledge means it's something that generally people understand. So to give you an example of common knowledge, it might be that it's generally known that if you bump into somebody, you say "excuse me," or it's generally known that the capital of New Zealand is Wellington. Personal knowledge is something that you just know, that relates to a particular thing. So if you're evaluating an event that you went to, a lot of that would be your personal knowledge and expert opinion. So then all you simply do is you decide which type of evidence we've got for each one of these and circle them. So you'll see here I've circled common knowledge ones. Then I decide, with the evidence that's been given, I look at the two reasons I've given and I decide whether they are the reasons I've given overall with the evidence, type of evidence, is whether it's strong, weak or uncertain. Circle it, and same with my objections. And then I weigh up all the evidence and I then decide whether the evaluation claim is reliable, unreliable or uncertain. Once I've completed those steps, I then am able to say that I'm now at the top level and being able to use the evaluate map. So these last couple of steps here are really important, where you're judging the overall support for your reasons and overall support for your objections and the overall evaluation of your claim.